Hello, everybody. Welcome to our AI radio room. Today we have Michael from Zero G Labs joining us. How are you
Hey
doing?
everyone, doing pretty well despite landing at 2 a.m. and being jet lagged. I feel pretty energized just being here. So thanks for
Hopefully it'll
having
be
me.
worth it
Yeah,
being
absolutely,
here, right?
absolutely.
So maybe just to start, do you want to tell us a little bit about your project, your journey, what inspired you to start your venture in the space?
Absolutely. So Zero G is a modular AI chain, the first modular AI chain. Our first product is ultra-performant, programmable data availability and decentralized storage network. And essentially, the future that we saw was that right now, a lot of data availability networks have a throughput of like best in class, anywhere from 1 to 10 megabytes per second. But if you truly want to bring things like on-chain training to the blockchain, we need tens of gigabytes per second. And so we're many orders of magnitudes off. And so we really, from a first principles perspective, thought through how do we architect a system that gets us to that throughput so that really there's no barriers between centralized and decentralized systems from a performance and cost perspective, besides the physical limitations like speed of light and so on. So that's, in a nutshell, what we stand for. Our mission is to make AI a public good. And how I got to this journey is I started, in deep tech. I was an engineer and a technical product manager at Microsoft and SAP Labs, and then moved over more to the business side. I worked for Bain & Company for a couple of years, where I consulted Fortune 500 companies in technology and finance. Afterwards, moved to the East Coast and worked for Bridgewater Associates in the portfolio construction division. Quite fun. So about 60 billion in trades on a daily basis. So not a small amount, quite a bit there. And then finally decided to go back to graduate school at Stanford and build my first Web2 company there. And at that point, I was quite fed up with just well-being in the workplace. And so built a whole company around that, scaled out to about 650 people, 100 million in contracted ARR, raised about 125 million for it. So it became a top YC and unicorn company. And then late 2022, my classmate, Thomas, who then became my co-founder later, basically said, hey, I invested in this company called Conflux. Ming and Fan, two of the co-founders, want to start something more global scale. They're the best engineers and computer scientists I've ever backed. Like, would you like to get together? And he knew that I wanted to do something in Web3 ever since investing into Bitcoin in 2013 and in lots of ICOs in 2016. And so I was like, yes, let's get together. Let's check this out. 6 months of co-founder dating later, came to the same conclusion. Like, Ming and Fan are the best computer scientists I've ever worked with. And basically said, we have to start something. And so started a company almost a year ago at this point. And basically said, well, what should we build? And so we thought about, well, where do we have domain expertise in? What's a major unlock for the space? And what are we passionate about? And so after speaking to quite a few people in the space, we basically came to the conclusion that I just mentioned around building a modular AI chain, because we wanted to see that future actually happening where we have open, transparent, artificial intelligence that's there for human good.
Yep. And efficient. Efficiency is key.
Efficiency, absolutely. I mean, in order for that to happen, you need the data infrastructure to be in place. Otherwise, like, what's the point? When we started, storing a gigabyte on Ethereum was like $60 million. And of course, it's cheaper if you do it on an L2 and so on, but doesn't solve the problem. Yeah.
Okay, that's a good start. So now we'll get into like the quick fire questions about like building an AI.
Sure.
Okay, so just quick, snappy, short answers. Like Instagram, TikTok kind of style. So
takeaways.
Exactly, right. So the first one is, could you tell us more about the project you're currently working on and what makes it unique in the AI and Web3?
Yeah. Three things: performance, programmability, kind of AI focus, and so that whole modularity piece is in there. You want me to go deeper or? Sure. Performance, I mentioned already, instead of 1 to 10 megabytes is tens of gigabytes, and in fact, infinitely scalable once we release phase 2 of the mainnet end of the year, because we'll also figure out a way to horizontally scale consensus layers. So just like flipping on a switch, getting another AWS server, we can do the same thing on the consensus side. Programmability, because it's based around a decentralized storage network. Users of the system can determine how long to store the data, where to store the data, what type of data type to use, how much security they want in the data. So that's quite a big differentiator. And then the AI focus this is our first product, and then we'll start adding more and more features so that eventually we can go to things like on-chain model training as well. Many technical barriers to be overcome there, but sort of that's the key plan.
Good stuff. All right. Next one. What drew you to work at the intersection of AI and Web3, and why do you believe this combination has such potential?
What I saw that I was quite worried about is that if there's a future where all of the AI models are controlled by centralized entities, what's to stop those centralized entities to A, want to do something nefarious, and B, if they mistrain these models, that these models themselves kind of run out of control. Yeah. So why can't we create an environment where we know everything about them? Where the data came from, how it was labeled, where the data is stored, what version of the model is, what weights they have, how they're making decisions. And so blockchain environments is an ideal situation for that. Yeah. And I think especially important for societal use cases. So traffic control systems, manufacturing systems, administrative systems. I would want to know that my model wasn't trained on how to build a bomb, for example.
Yeah, so like specific tailored training, almost. Yeah,
specific tailored training, knowing exactly, having input from multiple community members around how the governance should work, what are the economic incentives for the model, putting it in a situation where it can't cheat. Like if a model tells me, hey, I picked up all the trash in this environment and here are my centralized database records, and then actually none of that happened, then obviously the model is cheating, or the agent that's kind of running on that model. And so on a blockchain environment, something has to happen for there to be a record. And so that can't be faked or changed.
Lovely.
Yeah.
3 more. In your opinion, is the current buzz around on-chain AI overhyped or underhyped? And what do you see as the future of this technology?
Yes, so I'd say in Web3, it seems at the point where it's starting to get a bit overhyped, but then if you take it from a broader perspective in Web2, not enough people are talking about it. So it really depends on the context. And so the future is that for different type of use cases, in my mind, we can use different types of agents. And so if you're booking a restaurant, booking a hotel, you can have a agent on your edge device that's maybe connected to a blockchain somewhere, but can make decisions for you. Very like small locus of control, not a lot of negative impact that can happen from that. But then again, societal use cases fundamentally need to be on the blockchain.
Sure. So in keeping with use cases, what have you found to be your favorite ways to use AI just in your everyday life?
Well, I tried to have an AI basically agent. I used Claude 3 to write a lot of answers to my one of my interviews, and it did a decent job. I still have to scrap about 60%, but so I like to use it that way. And then I also, just for some brainstorming, like for example, what does a good onboarding document look like? Now I can spend 10 minutes, come up with a bunch of stuff, or I can just spend 10 seconds, get an initial answer, and then say like, okay, maybe this is missing, this is missing. So that's another use case. And then for automations as well, one of the projects I want to work on is take a lot of the Telegram messages I have and automatically kind of code them and put them into a CRM system. So it's easier to kind of follow up and so on.
Brilliant use cases.
Yeah.
Finally, final question. Why would the average user want to adopt a decentralized model over existing solutions, Web2, LLMs, sort of thing?
Yeah, if you want complete visibility, it goes to this whole, verifiability, provenance, transparency. If you want to know exactly what went into your model, and you have specific use cases that require you to know that exactly, let's say the LLM is tutoring your child, for example, and you'd want to know that the context that it's tutoring your child in is a very benevolent one, then I think truly open AI, decentralized AI is the solution there.
I would agree. Yeah. That's one good solution, to be fair. Yeah. Okay, so thank you very much for joining us, Michael.
Big pleasure.
Hopefully we'll see you again soon, maybe in Brussels, potentially.
We will be there.
Good stuff. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Big pleasure.